in the chat right now.
Just wait, just wait.
I just want to see who we have so far. We actually have, there's like 3 viewers. What's going on, guys? Let's see here. Jason W. What's going on, DJ? What's going on? Yeah, we're just gonna wait a little bit for a little more people to go ahead, and then we'll get started with the atmosphere itself.
Yeah. So basically, going back to what I was saying to you guys, since I know when you go to like those Milsim West games and all that,
Yeah.
you're not necessarily. Well, I'll tell you my experience, and you can tell me.
Sure,
your
yeah.
experience.
Yeah,
So
go for it, go for it.
when you guys go, you're designated as either NATO, civilian, or
Rust 4. Yeah, one of the
right?
3 generally.
But within there, do you guys break down to like maybe like the Rangers or?
Yeah, so like obviously you have like your standard issue like camouflage that you have, right? So like if you're just going as a standard NATO soldier, you just buy your regular ticket. You have to go in like multicam, Scorpion OCP, just big multicam base. So that is your go-to camouflage, which makes it very easy for people to get into because it's everywhere. If you go Rust 4, then it has to be either Rust 4 camo or like sometimes it's like solid black or like 80 green. It's very dependent on the kit. But if say you wanted to go as like Rangers or you wanted to go as like Delta, right, and wear something that's not multicam, you have to have a squad of 9 or more guys with you in the same team and email beforehand to get permission.
I think it's gonna be super hard nowadays to do the Western West, especially for the Russian side.
You think so?
Yeah, why? It's just a bunch of losing.
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
They're just gonna keep losing,
Believe
or
it-
just like Wagner's or something like that.
Believe it or not, most
You know
guys
what?
that do.
You know what?
Rust
They can
4?
even go in there with 1903 fucking Springfield or
Yeah,
Molten
you could,
again.
right? I mean, like, but for Rust 4, typically the way the game
Or
works,
they just don't have ammunition.
usually Rust 4, like, they actually, like,
They have to go out there with no food or spoil food.
Well, no, they have to dig a trench in a radioactive fucking ground soil and die. For those that don't know, that actually was a thing. We're not making that up. That actually was a real thing.
Yeah, that's what happened when they
Took Chernobyl,
went into the Chernobyl. They have no idea what the hell they were.
Didn't anyone, like, research? You gotta ask. Like,
They're
didn't
so
someone-
dumb.
Like, why did you not research this? Okay, this is Chernobyl, like, this is still radioactive. You can't normally walk in here.
Okay, so the thing is this. There's still engineers there, right?
Yes.
Chernobyl never shut down.
No, it's still going. Just certain parts have been
Collapse
restricted.
and all that kind of stuff, and they put a dome over it
Yeah.
and whatnot. That thing was operating even ever since the explosion. Outside of it, yeah, they evacuated people and whatnot.
Yeah.
The whole forest area become empty, right? But not every single part are highly radioactive. But they're saying the stupid places that they were in,
Yeah.
and they were digging into trenches. Those were,
Like, there's
that's
signs.
30 years. Come on, you're thinking maybe on the top you're not gonna have anything, but
Yeah.
you think
Deep,
come
it's
on.
like, yeah, everything, all that radioactive soil got buried. You're gonna just basically dig it
Yeah,
all up.
you're gonna be right there. But
Someone was asking. Yep, they're gonna be a little more free now. Oh, okay. No, someone was asking, how often are we gonna be streaming now?
daily almost.
Pretty much daily. The only day that we're probably not gonna be streaming is gonna be Thursdays. That's the day of the shopping spree giveaway. Just because we do that live stream a little bit earlier, it'd be kind of hard for us to do a live stream in the storefront that's so close to the actual live stream.
Yeah.
Giveaway. People might get confused.
But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
It seems like people are enjoying this, and we're literally talking about airsoft. I mean, you have been playing more than 10 years.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you've been working in airsoft industry for what?
6 years.
6-7 years.
Yeah, 6 years.
So that's a lot of experience. I mean, we have a lot of things to talk about.
Oh yes.
So yeah, let me ask you something there. I understand, like Milsim West is not politically motivated and whatnot.
No.
But just keep this in mind, though.
Okay, all right.
Now we know how sucky Russian forces are. Can they even do like, okay, since now you guys have the Russians have ammunition shortage. Let's say the NATO's can have 400 rounds. The Russia can only have 120.
Honestly, that'd be kind of cool to see how that would set up. But honestly, they don't even give you like that much ammo. In
But
the first
I'm
place.
just giving you an example.
There really is a shortage sometimes. I've gone to events before where it was like, logistically, actually, real life, something happened with their BB shipment, and they were like, "Oh shit, we only have like leftover BBs." So they literally gave everyone like
A Ziploc.
like less than 200 rounds of BBs, and it was like, "Well, this is enough for one EPM1, so make do." That was for everyone though, so not just us. But that'd be funny. They're like, "All right, cool, just like the Ukraine war, you only get like 100 rounds." Oh shit, all right.
And their standout rating is when they get hit, they just run backwards.
Run backwards. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. That is actually so opposite of what actually happens. Rust 4, a lot of the guys that do Rust 4, they are like, they know what they're doing. A lot of the older guys that are in Milsim West, they usually go Rust 4.
Well, the reason why it's happening right now, I mean, they're seasoned veteran soldiers. They're pretty either wounded or dead.
Yeah.
So now it's all, most of them are conscripts or bad people. You know, bad people join
Wagner.
the Wagner.
Or Wagner, yeah.
Yeah, and they're just cannon fodders. You know, they don't care.
I look up like stuff that Wagner, whatever how you pronounce it.
Wagner, yeah.
I look up some of the stuff that they do, and I'm like, there's no way that they're that evil, right? Like, there's no way that they're that evil. And I look up some of the stuff they do, like history-wise, and I'm like, oh, this is like out of a video game or a movie. This is like cartoon evil.
Well, no, they're kind of like a organized crime.
No,
type
yeah,
of
of course, right? Like PMCs and like mercenaries, of course, everything's all about money, right? At the end of the day,
Yeah.
hey, I need good fucking dudes to get in there. And
They
fuck
go
shit
to
up.
they go to Africa. They
were in
support
Africa, yes.
which side,
Yeah.
whoever paid them more,
whoever
right?
paid
And then
more.
whoever can give them like the gold mine, shit like that, and then they go attack the other side. The Russian, I mean, they don't care.
Do you remember that story in 2018 where like I think it was like a couple hundred like Wagner dudes that were like fucking got smoked by an AC-130? Do you remember this?
Are you talking about the one they were attacking the U.S. base?
Yes.
And they got annihilated.
They got fucking
U.S. base
smoked.
only have like
Yeah.
however many people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That-
No, they're cannon fodders.
Yeah, because I think there was like even in Russia there was like protests like outside like capital where everyone was like cause families of guys that were in Wagner, they were all pissed off, right? Protesting, you deny plausibility, and he's just like dude's just like, I don't know.
Care.
I don't care.
It's a company. It's
Yeah.
a corporation. Go take it out.
Yeah,
to
go take it out on them.
on that guy.
File a
But
complaint.
anyways, we're not here to promote war or anything.
No, we're not. This is all airsoft, by the way. We're just spitballing here.
But what we're gonna talk about today is Isaiah's Milsim experience.
My experiences in the Milsim world, and hopefully I get to answer.
Yeah.
If you guys want to ask questions about it as well, my experiences doing, because I've been doing Milsim West events for, 4 years now? Yeah, about 4 years.
Yeah, try to share the stream, bring everybody here. You know, we're
Please
just
give it a
starting.
thumbs up.
You know, stuff like that. The bulk of the meet hasn't really started yet.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
You know, just try to get people in. I know it's Monday. People are probably getting tired of work or about to get out of work. So, hey, get on Twitter or Facebook.
If you know anyone
share
that's
it.
even remotely interested in airsoft or maybe the Milsim community or trying to get into it, make sure to go ahead and send them this live stream. Tell them to send them our way again. We can go ahead and answer questions too.
So, I asked you earlier, like, when was your first Milsim event?
The very first Milsim West event that I ever went to, or just Milsim period, was actually 2018 when I did Operation High Tide. That was the one that was on the USS Hornet, the aircraft carrier. I did that one. That one was really fun. But that was a
How is that even a Milsim event?
Huge, because they actually did have uniform requirements, weapons platform requirements, and they actually did have separate starting points. There was more like a Milsim Light event though, because they had like more objective based games throughout the day.
So,
Think of like a little bit more hardcore than BB War, just a little bit more.
I hope we kind of get certain things ready. Like certain things, like a standard setup.
Mhm.
Having uniform requirement, having whatever guns requirements, doesn't really make a real sense.
It can definitely help like give it that sort of sense though, because like again, military simulation, right? You're trying to simulate something.
Well, for one, you can't really, to me, in my opinion, when I first started, I played Iron Angels,
Oh, yeah.
Line Claws,
Well,
and
classics.
then there are other ones. But, at that time, it's loosely called it the Milsim, but in reality, I don't think that's
Did more along the lines with like a big force-on-force game.
close to Milsim. There are requirements here and there. They do break down to different things. They do have to follow orders
Yeah,
or patrols or whatever.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is, nowadays it's literally, your basic games at the neighborhoods, then your playground, your fields and all that kind of stuff. Then the local events like
It's like going in a tier list.
yeah, you have like the North Carolina, the photo gap. I'm not sure if it's still happening. All
I think
those
so.
ball hack events, stuff like that. And then you have American Milsim right above it.
Yeah.
You have Milsim West, and you have Line Claws. even at that level, people think loincloth is more of the basic Milsim, correct?
Yeah, I would say that's a general perception.
And then on top of that might be the American Milsim or some other
Or the organizer.
organizers that try to hold something higher. When people join the loincloth or experience it, and they're like, this is close, but it's not really. They want more hardcore stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So they go up to a little bit higher. I'm not even sure if American Milsim is as hardcore as, let's say, Milsim West, right?
I actually don't have too much experience with American Milsim. If you guys do, let me know. Again, put it in the chat. Let me know what your experiences are. Always interested in that.
Yeah, like for example, how people at first, at the very very beginning, people were worried about how Josh Warren's event. They were, oh yeah, they're using blames, yada yada.
Yeah,
yada.
yeah.
But
I remember a little bit of that.
to be honest with you, then it kind of formed like a pyramid, and they're at the highest point of, let's say, the whole airsoft events.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely like the golden standard.
It's
now.
more like immersions, and you're not even there to play airsoft.
No, you're there to LARP.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're basically there like LARPing at that point.
So today we want to talk about it.
Okay. No, usually like I don't mind being a little bit more like liberal with my term like Milsim. The only reason why is because I don't want to make people feel bad if they're like, oh yeah, I did my first Milsim event, right? You get a lot of people like that, right? I don't normally recommend people do Milsim West for their first ever Milsim experience period. You can. I did it. Like, I mean, when I wanted to do like a legit game, I did it. I went from like a 4 to like a 100, like real quick. But I normally don't use the term like Milsim like only exclusively for just one organizer. Because again, there are different varying degrees, I guess, of Milsim. Yeah, there are varying degrees of like Milsim events, right? Like, and again, if you want to do something like that's why I usually use the term Milsim Light. It's just a lot easier to go ahead and refer to that. Again, it has elements of Milsim in it, but it's not like as hardcore. The immersion isn't like ridiculously high, right? Whereas like Milsim West is, yeah, it's all about the immersion, right? Of course, some things here and there are like forgiven, but for the most part, it is all about the immersion. Let's see here. Right there. We got him here. Kaylee Steel Moon, what's going on? Jason, what's going on? Chef Pandakage, what's going on, guys? Cody Dearman, hey man, what's going on? I recognize your name. Yeah, we got. Looks like we got all the regulars in here. Hell yeah.
Let's go back and so your first event. Let's skip that one.
Okay.
Because that one is literally force on force, and the only cool thing is you're on a
aircraft carrier.
That's not even an aircraft carrier.
It was.
That's an amphibious landing assault ship or something like that. That's a marine ship.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I guess
you didn't know that, right?
Honestly, like we were always told, like in the actual museum and on the placards, they would just be like aircraft carrier, and I was like, oh, okay. But I guess if you read, I guess more into it, it's like it actually has a very specific classification. But yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't want to go too crazy.
Yeah, go on a tangent.
Like there's a CBN, and CBN meaning is the nuclear ones and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Before the CB and et cetera, et cetera. But anyways, that's that. But that was a cool event. That's one and done because they probably figure they probably don't make money, or they're like, hey, what the hell is so many BBs?
That was actually the reason why. There's so many BBs. The museum was actually kind of upset about that. Apparently they do them like throughout the U.S., but I've been struggling to find them, honestly. I want to do more because that was fun. It was ridiculously fun.
Yeah, imagine doing a USS Missouri or something and do like the.
Which one's the Missouri? Where's that one? Where's that one docked at?
I think either is it the one at Long Beach?
There is one in Long Beach. It might be the Missouri. It might be that one. Yeah, I would love to.
That would be cool, right?
Yeah,
you can do the movie like the Battleship.
Aliens versus humans. Oh yeah, perfect.
That would be cool, right? But anyways, let's talk about Milsim West a little bit.
Okay.
Like, how did you hear about it? What makes you want to do it?
So, like, Milsim West was always one of those, like, things that you heard about, like, hearsay from, like, guys on the field, the older guys, being like, oh, yeah, I just got back from this Milsim event. And I was like, what is Milsim, right? I'd look it up. And then one of the first results that I would see, like, back then when I was still in high school was Milsim West, right? And I would see footage of, like, influencers playing this, and it looked freaking sick. It looked so cool. I had never seen that many players on a field before, right? And it just looked amazing. Just how many players showed up and like in full kit too, right? Obviously there was like varying degrees of how like legit the kit was. And, I mean, I didn't really care. It was just the fact that everyone was in like matching uniforms. Everyone was in like actual weapons platforms. Rust 4, you saw them using AKs. You saw NATO guys using like ARs and SCARs, right? Or you saw like even a little bit of a LARPing bit. You saw like civilians opening up their own businesses. You saw civilians like in full costume and everything. Like it looked cool, right? Because I do like LARPing. I do like the idea of LARPing. And combining that with Airsoft just seemed like a match made in heaven.
So, let me ask you a few things. Do you can any size call airstrike?
Oh, not from Milsim West. I haven't seen anything regarding an airstrike. Nothing like that.
So nothing like that.
Nothing like that. Nothing like that.
Then can I ask you another thing? I'm not sure how much you follow. Like, what I'm trying to say is maybe we should even change the term from military simulation to
Okay.
LARPing.
Millarp, military
LARP.
LARPing.
Yeah.
Millarp. I'm down
Why-
for that.
You know. Do you know why?
Because like Milsim, like at like if you get in a situation where you have like you know that enemies in a certain area, right, and it's not civilian homes or anything like you could very well just call in an airstrike at that point and just fucking nuke them all. Like realistically,
Not really new. You
yeah,
they call it
well,
airstrike.
yeah. But like even Nam, right? That's what we do. Just drop napalm in one freaking section of the jungle, right? That's pretty common practice.
Well, nowadays, I mean, now you like for example, I'm not. Okay, when I get bored,
Mm.
I listen to those stupid Ukraine war updates. So
oh
I
gosh,
kind of
yeah.
like just listen to it. Like,
There's a lot of crazy stuff. Going
well,
on.
that situation,
Mhm.
besides the cities and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
okay, it's literally kind of like World War One. They because it's flat land. Just
Yeah.
imagine us playing at a flat land.
Yeah, it's no man's
However-
land. Yeah.
No, the only hideouts you're gonna have are the trenches you're gonna be building,
Yeah.
and then the forest. And then the forest is not really forest; it's a line of trees,
Yeah.
and then roads and all that kind of stuff. So you kind of have to maneuver your way with like the armored personnel carrier and get over there, or you got to call in the artillery strikes and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, right? So I think if we want to simulate that in airsoft, that's not easy.
No, that'd be very, very difficult to do because how do you even simulate an airstrike, right? You just say,
Well,
okay,
they
everyone
do.
here is
I-
dead.
Yeah, I think that's
I'll
how
be
people
honest,
do it.
Kind of lame. I'd be honest, that's kind of lame.
I think that's how Line Claws does it,
Mm-hmm.
and some other events. But yeah, all right. So I don't want to call it Milsim. Then let's call it Millarp.
Millarp,
Millarp.
coin turn,
Alright.
product of Airsoft GI. You're welcome.
So yeah, let's tell me about your first game. Like, how did you prepare it? All that kind of stuff.
So the very first time that I did a Milsim West event, obviously I would ask around people guys that I knew had done it, and I would say, okay, any recommendations? And they would all say the same thing. Read the website, read the tax op. It's literally a list of instructions, everything that you are going to need to participate in the event, to know what's going on in the event, as far as like how to participate in the rules, what pieces of equipment you actually need, and what's highly recommended.
So you went with Taylor.
Yeah, I went with
Justin,
Taylor, not Justin. I went with Taylor and Boaz.
Boaz,
Yeah,
Taylor,
a
Boaz.
couple of regulars have went with us as well. You've met them
Mhm.
like Humphreys, but no, it was just us three from GI that went, and we read that tax op religiously. We were like, all right, make sure we got everything. We went the night before and went to Walmart and just bought everything that we could have possibly needed.
Mhm.
And then it was funny because we got everything that we got. All right, cool. We have everything we absolutely need. But what we didn't know was that it was tradition for that location, Clovis, Hill 459. We didn't know that it was like pretty common for it to fucking rain and have
Mhm.
storms in the middle of the year. And it was in like January or February.
Mhm.
It snowed on the second night.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no, like there were several guys the first night that like they had to go home because they had hypothermia. Like they were just like, all right, no, this guy's not gonna make it. Just send him on home. We didn't pack enough cold gear. We had just like hand warmers and like feet warmers that we just kept all over us. But that was pretty much it. That was the only comfort we had.
So beside that, what airsoft guns did you bring?
Believe it or not, I actually brought. It looks way different now than when it did beforehand.
Airsoft gun. Okay?
Airsoft toy, orange tip. It's a toy replica. This was actually a classic Army 249 that I had bought like right at towards the end of
Now,
2018.
something like this, we have the A&K model.
Yeah,
stuff like
you
that.
can buy like I had to build this out, but you can buy like this Mark 46 setup. You can buy it right now. We have it from A&K. Honestly, fully upgradable, dope. If you want to get into an easy LMG platform to start upgrading, this is actually one that I would suggest.
It might be on sale right now too. So
Yeah.
check out the shocker deal.
Definitely check it out.
So yeah, so that's what you brought.
Yeah.
Into I. How many rounds were you given?
3,000.
3,000 for the whole 2.5 days.
So they just start you off with an initial batch, right? And they'll always say like, hey, if you have any LMG users on your team, prioritize them because suppressing fire, right?
Mhm.
Fuck everyone getting close.
So it's a team, like a team gets X amount, and then the team passes it down to you guys.
Pretty much like NATO is given or platoons. They're like, all right, here's platoon sergeant, here's all the BBs that you have dispersed amongst your team however you see fit, right? And if it's up to them, it's their call. If they know that they have LMGs, they're gonna be like, all right, we're gonna give you, because you run an LMG, here's more BBs than the regular person, right? Or if there's limited resupplies from HQ, they're only gonna prioritize the LMGs first. They're gonna be, all right, we only have like literally maybe half a bottle of BBs. Most of it should go to the LMG users, and then split it amongst everyone else. Figure it out for yourselves.
See, I think that is something. I'm not sure if Line Clouds does that at all. That forces players to be more strategic.
Yeah, no, it does. Because you again, you can run out of ammo like mid firefight. You got to conserve your ammo and make your shots count.
And that's where the reality meets the practicalities. I mean, airsoft guns isn't really the most accurate guns out there.
Yeah, like I mean, if again we're comparing them to like real like firearms, and absolutely they're not going to have anywhere near the same range that a real AR would have, right? As much as I love some of these airsoft guns, they perform great. Comparing them to a real firearm, it's just not fair. It's not an easy comparison, honestly.
Right. So I think sometimes that can kind of, in my opinion, if that's me playing, I'll be like, man, that sucks. If I'm a DMR, fuck, I only got 120 rounds. Like you say, that's literally one.
So that happened like one. That's literally like one EPM one. But even like in all fairness, like I've talked to most of the guys that when we've gone, that's actually a fair amount, honestly. Like, because again, most of the time you're on patrol or you're setting up security, right? Unless you're getting into a like several hours long firefight, you're gonna be okay on the rounds, honestly. At least I feel. I'm not. If you're able to like run out of ammo on the first night and you're not an LMG user, then I feel like you might want to reconsider your game plan. Unless you're getting like kills upon kills upon kills, which I highly doubt.
Or join the BB Wars. That's when you're gonna sling the most BBs.
You're gonna sling the most BBs. We went through like a lot of rounds during BB Wars. We went through a lot. I don't know if you guys remember. For anyone that was there, you guys know that like, what was it, halfway through the first game? Maybe a little bit less than half. Like, half the rebels like had to leave because they're like, I don't have ammo anymore.
I'll be honest with you. I actually think, because the rule being, semi only, I only have 4 magazines. That's 480 rounds. To me, that's very little.
You think so?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you something. Don't get all crazy.
No, that's fine.
Think about this, okay? My first event, a big event, was Operation Iron Angel.
Okay.
You remember 2003 when we went into Fallujah? Do you know why? You don't.
Wasn't that like part of like we had to clear?
No, it's not, because 4 of the PMC guys got killed.
Which PMC was it? Blackwater?
Yeah, Scott Halveston and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So Operation Iron Angel, Scott Halveston and his team played.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so they were in a special squad. They do their things and they try to do whatever's. I don't know if you ever heard of a TV show from USA called Combat Mission.
I do remember this show vaguely.
Yeah, so they
my dad liked it.
Yeah, and that's how they got into airsoft and play. I actually met the guy and play and all that kind of stuff. He actually, man, if we can find that DVD, we can probably just play it.
Play in the third one.
But anyways, back to the BB thing. So everybody has high caps. At that time, I was using a Marie SR 16 modified, whatever. I probably have 12 high caps on me.
Fuck, that's a lot of ammo.
That's 3,600 rounds.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And 2 bags of BBs.
Okay.
So I would say I was carrying 9,000 rounds.
A lot of rounds.
Now you see the differences?
Yeah. I mean, but did you mind back in the day? I mean, I don't know if that was like was all that was available back then. I don't know if mid caps were really a thing.
No, like, there was no mid caps.
You didn't really care about having to wind it.
You just have to wind it and shoot it.
Okay,
and that's why feeding is very important for me.
Yeah.
You do some high cap when you have dirt and all that kind of stuff. It sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, you can't feed shit.
So yeah, if you only have let's say you have 3,000 rounds, the whole
like at least the first. That sometimes can be a reality because like you generally can request resupplies, right? They'll usually send a runner and be like, hey, for HQ, do you guys need anything? And then they'll be like, oh, we need X, Y, and Z, right? Or sometimes we'll just tell our like squadron leader, we'll tell the platoon sergeant, and then they'll move up, right? Go up the chain of command. But if for whatever reason, because they have to transport the BBs in game, like that's in game. That's your actual. They can get schwacked in the middle of the road when they're driving. So all your BBs now just went to the enemy side, so now you're fucked. So that can happen. So that bag of BBs, don't expect there to be an automatic resupply. That is going to be like, you save that as much as you can. You only shoot if you absolutely have to.
So you see the difference, right?
Yeah.
Versus me using an SR-16, which
With
is
9,000 something rounds.
yeah, right. And then you guys, that's why I said Milsim and Mil Lard. There's a big.
Yeah.
I don't even want to call it the Milsim. More like a big airsoft game.
Big airsoft game.
So, going back to you have the saw and what else did you bring?
The saw, and I think for a sidearm, oh god, what did I bring? I think I brought my Elite 479 that I had at the time, the CO2 one. I brought that, I like M9s. I brought that, and that was pretty much about it as far as my guns. I had a backup gun. I don't have it here with me. I'd show it otherwise, but I think it was a classic Army just AR that I turned into like a Mark 18. Something basic.
So you, Taylor, Boaz, what you guys were part of a squad? How many people were on your squad?
So typically squads are divided up into like
6 people?
usually 9.
9?
Usually 9 people. Yeah, they usually give you like 9 people, and then of course there's like, I guess it goes. Okay, so we'll break it down from like the very beginning. It's like teams of 4, right? And then like you usually get 2 of those with 1 squad leader, so that forms 9.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think there's, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe there's like 2 squads per platoon, if I'm not mistaken. It depends on how many people they have. Obviously, they have to divvy it up and do some math to figure out. But generally speaking, it's like 4-man fire teams, and then there's like 2 of those, and that makes up a squad with 1 squad leader.
So, what did you guys do at your first event?
So first event was, okay, as soon as we showed up, right, and we chronoed and registered, it started raining, like immediately, like heavy ass downpour, like several inches of rain. So I was like, oh, cool, I'm cold and it's wet. So we had to set up our camp, right? We found where we were supposed to go ahead and lay up camp and set up for the night. But in the middle of setting up, our freaking camp, the rain just kept getting worse and worse and worse, to the point where the actual tarp that we had used to set it up had just collapsed. So
Too much water.
Too much water. So all of our shit just got completely soaked. Thankfully, none of the electronics, everything, all the airsoft guns were fine. It's just, our spare clothes. So that sucked. Then, of course, we got attacked in the middle of the night as well.
Yeah, so tell us more about that. I'd much rather hear that than you being soaked on this.
It plays a factor.
This is not OnlyFans.
Because like a lot of the guys got soaked, because again, that's freezing cold water there too, and the temperatures just started dropping. So one of the guys in our team, like our 4-man team, because we put up in the team before, he had to go home. He was shaking the entire time. He looked pale as hell, and we're like, okay, I think this is a real life emergency. So we literally told our team leader, I think was Taylor the team leader? I forget. We had like basically the squad leader show up, and he's like, all right, what's going on? And he let us know, like, okay, this guy has hypothermia. He needs to go. Okay, it's a real life emergency. They booked him out. He didn't show up for the rest of the game. But about like an hour after that, we're still trying to set up, maybe find more secure ways of setting up our tent. I just hear this, like almost like a firecracker when they go off, the really big ones, and this massive explosion just blows up everything, and everything lights up. It's pitch black there. Everything lights up, and then I just hear like over the comms and all around me, contact, and you just hear BBs going off and blank fire from above, because we're literally at the base of like this cliffside. So everyone's just shooting down at us.
So the blank firing people are the event holder.
No, you can be a regular player and bring blank fire. That's totally okay.
So how do you count?
So for that one, this requires. Okay, how we say airsoft's an honor sport. If you bring a blank fire to a Milsim event, you are like incredibly brave, because again, there is a big fat risk that players might not call it. And sometimes it's not always expected to. Your biggest thing with how to deal with a blank fire is you are supposed to just react to it. So the general rule of thumb is, like, if someone's super far away and they're using blank fire, you can just duck behind cover, right? As long as you're ducking behind cover, you're considered safe. But if, say, you're out in the open, you're running across a field or trying to storm someplace, and if someone pulls out a window and just shoots a lot of, like, blank fire, be the nice guy, be the honorable guy. Just call yourself hit, because in reality, if this guy pulls out of a window and shoots,
even a real situation, it's not that easy to get hit.
True. But again, it's just the courteous thing to do. It's like the gentleman thing to do, right? It's like when you feel like something touched your plate carrier, right, and you can't see anyone that shot you.
How do you count the blank fire then? I mean, if I'm running or all that, I'm not gonna pan around and see where the flash is coming.
Usually, like, you can like typically see it, because again, the blank fire does have a really, really bright, even in broad daylight, you can see.
Right, I'm saying to say if it's on my right hand side.
Mhm.
Okay, but I'm running toward facing forward right here.
Mhm. I guess at that point, like, I mean, for me, it would just easily be in my peripherals, but I get what you're saying. Like, if it's just slightly out of view, I mean, it doesn't take that long to just do a quick, like, worst
So
case.
anytime someone blank fire at your direction, you have to die. That's
Not
what I'm
always.
trying to say.
Not always. Again, it really depends on where you're at. If you're behind cover, like a pretty good solid wall, and you just see someone like putting blank fires just randomly, obviously you don't have to call it. Like you just have to react to it. Like if someone's gonna be shooting blank fire directly at you, and you're just walking nonchalantly towards them. Come on, that's being a dick.
So it's kind of like the Civil War ring out there.
Kinda, yeah,
You know, you
yeah.
line
That's,
up
yeah,
on
that's
the other side.
exactly
All
what it
right,
is.
you don't want to keep walking. You just
Yeah, exactly. Like, well, I'm pretty sure that's the way most Civil War reenactors and Revolution War, like reenactors usually do it. They're just like, all right, I'll call it. They just lie on the ground.
They want to die like gracefully to, act it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, tell us your first firefight.
That was interesting because like I literally was like in the middle. I put my gun down just for like maybe 3 seconds, and I'm trying to set up like our tent, our little like shelter. And then when shit goes off, right, we're taking fire. I literally have to grab my gun. Like I kind of do a tuck and roll because I can literally see the BBs where they're landing pretty close to me. So I have to try to get behind cover.
It was in the dark though.
It was pretty dark, but like all the blank fire was still going on. Like so that pretty much lit up everything. And that firework that we saw, those were basically like flares that they were shooting out to see everything.
So, in your squad, did you guys have guys with blank fire?
We had one guy with blank fire from another team that was with us, but he was in the same squad. So he was in a little shelter close to ours. So we saw him. We knew he had blank fire. So he just started like shooting back and like blank fire as well. That was really cool. That was like a really immersive experience. That was really, really fun. But I was just very mad at that point because Taylor and I were the only ones trying to set up our shelter. Boaz, I don't know what the fuck he was doing. He was sleeping the whole time. Right? It wasn't until later on during the fight that he woke up. But Taylor and I were trying to set up the shelter. Water keeps getting everywhere. Now we're taking fire, and we can't see where we're going because we're definitely out of range because it's all uphill versus downhill, right? They have the high ground. I get so pissed off that I just grab my saw and I just literally just start shooting up into the rocks. Thankfully, I had the range to mostly reach it, so I'm just yelling out there, I just want to go to sleep! And I just start shooting up at the rocks. And literally, I guess it was funny enough so that even the opposing side stopped shooting and you could hear a little bit of chuckles on there. And like everyone was just laughing at that point because they're like, okay, this is kind of funny. Like, he broke the immersion, but still a little funny that he just wants to go to sleep. Because it was just like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning.
So how long was the fight?
Maybe like 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
10 minutes, yeah. And then afterwards, it was like, okay, like they're starting to trying to flank around, trying to go behind this river and all these little rocks behind it. So everyone that had nods had to go down and actually kind of intercept them before they could actually cross the river and into our fucking like near our HQ or near our PD.
When you guys finished the first fight, did you guys get any rest?
No, not at all. Well, I didn't because anyone that had or rented night vision goggles, you were basically asked to do like double shift on like pulling security. So Taylor and I would literally have to walk around the perimeter, like just outside the perimeter of the PD, just kind of take note of anything and everything that was going on. And you would sometimes still take fire, like randomly, just pot shots. It's literally just dudes that just, you know what, let's just go ahead and harass them all night, keep them up all night. And that's why in the morning, everyone's all tired.
So, in your general vicinity, how many squads were there? Just
I think ours, like, there was a pretty decent amount of space before another squad had set up their teams, like, shelters. So, at the very base of the tip, literally at the tip where we, like, made contact, that's where we were.
Yeah, let me ask you guys something. So, the squads were pretty spread out there? Squads?
I think the squads themselves were pretty spread out, yeah. Not like a super far walk, but like, everything's either uphill or like super downhill. So, yeah, like there was a little bit of a walking to it.
Do you think that's realistic?
I don't know, because I don't know how like usually military like units would set up like either APB, like if that's actually part of regulation or not. The only thing I know is that pulling security is a real thing.
Of course.
Right, like you can only fuck in the middle of the night. But other than that, I don't know what the actual organization is for like setting up like, okay, set up a patrol base for God knows how many times, because again, it's temporary. I'm not too sure like how they would actually set up, or whether that would be even considered realistic or not.
Yeah, maybe that's something that, whoever that's in the chat that's being in the military.
Anyone that has, like, I'm just curious to see if that is.
So I think partly they'll probably do it for you guys to get in some sort of fight and maybe feel like, oh man, everywhere you're gonna have enemies and all that kind of stuff.
We definitely felt that because, like, this is our first time. A lot of the guys in our squad, it was their first time as well. They just kind of happened to lump all the noobs together. So it was like the blind leading the blind. Because one of the guys that actually had left during the middle of the night, and this is why I'm actually not a big fan of this person, but our squad, our squad leader at the time, he was there for like the first like couple hours, but in the middle of the night, he just left. Like, no reason.
To where?
Apparently, like, people said that he had just like decided to like leave the event entirely.
Oh, okay.
And they found him, I guess, at a hotel nearby. He just couldn't handle it. This is like the first time. I was like, come on, man. So it was literally just the blind leading the blind, kind of just figuring, all right.
Well, that sucks. I mean, he'd probably pay what, $150?
Yeah, he paid like either 150 or 200 sometimes. He paid like a good amount of money just for him to like leave the event entirely.
That sucks.
That's freaking sucks. That's a waste, man.
So going back to how it was, like when you have to be on the patrol, when you have to be on your lookout, don't you feel that adrenaline rush?
Oh yeah, 100%, absolutely. It gets to a point because you're really tired, you start to see shit. Like even just a small bush from like way far away under night vision goggles, you're like, is that a fucking guy? Is he moving? And everyone has to look at it too and double check. I don't know, is he? And then we're all just fucking like stacked up like behind our shelter, being like, I don't know if they fucking move, get close enough to shoot him. Mm-hmm. It turns out it was like a rabbit. They're just fucking moving around.
See, I think that's what the fun part is.
Oh yeah, the tension gets really really high. Like there is a lot of adrenaline that goes on because you definitely don't know when the next firefight's gonna be. I went to go take a leak the next day, and that's actually when I got the largest firefight in Milsim experience that I've had so far.
All right, so tell us about that.
Taylor and I waded through the freezing cold river because a lot of the ice around the area just started melting, so that water was cold. Even with my gaiters on, I bought gaiters because I figured I didn't want mud in my shoes. Mm-hmm. It was still fucking freezing cold. So we literally are looking around oh, so this is where we were getting shot from. Like, all right, let's turn around. We just gotta take a piss. So we started taking a leak, and then I just feel like as I'm zipping myself up, I just hear a thump, and I feel something in my shoulder, and I'm like, oh. It took me a second to realize what that was, and I was like, oh, and I had to play dead. Oh, and I just lied down and started playing dead. And then I just see this squad of freaking 9 dudes, 9 Rust 4 dudes. I was like, oh, so that's what they look like. They shot me, and right before I bled out, someone had killed them. Turns out another NATO element had just kind of rolled up from a completely different squad, saw us that we were dead, was like, oh, NATO, revived us. And then we ended up joining them for trying to engage with this. I think it was a 30-minute firefight that we took part in.
Wow. So did any of your guy run out BBs? They probably did.
I was close. I was very close.
So what happened when you run out of BBs?
When you run out of BBs, entirely, you can ask around, hey, you got any spare BBs? Just ask the guy next to you. If they don't, which most likely they don't, then you're going to have to walk back to your patrol base, where sometimes you can store the BBs that you're issued. If you're smart, you're going to, store it someplace where no one can see it. There's a danger with that, though. If your patrol base gets taken over, Rust 4 can still sneak through your shit and, take your BB. That's fair game. As long as it's not in a magazine, that's always been the rule. If it's in a magazine, it's safe, you can't touch it, don't be a dick and, empty out their mid-caps. But if it's in, a baggie that hasn't been put into a magazine, it's up for grabs, man. Anyone can take that.
You know what would suck? If you don't have a loader, one of those Sentinel gear loaders, and you're just loading it, and then all of a sudden you drop it all on the floor, you can't use it.
I feel like that happened. I feel like I saw that. Maybe it
probably see that happen.
It might have been one of the Odin knockoffs or something. Someone just dropped it and just all their BBs just came out. Or I've seen the other one where someone's loading their BBs into the magazine with the old crank ones, and I guess they hit the little freaking release latch for the follower, and all right, cool, I think I'm done. All their BBs just came out on the floor. It's
that's bad, right?
That's terrible. That's terrible. I could not imagine that happening to me.
So. You brought your HK 416 over here too. Did you use that?
Yes, not at this first event. I used this one during my. Yeah, I can go and show it. Yeah, toy, airsoft gun, replica, not real. Thank you. YouTube.
You can build something like this
very easily.
The new HK 416 competition or
very affordable.
This is the VFC one, but it looks like you got new rails on it.
Yes, the SMR rail system. Yeah, just because I thought it looked cool, and I saw a lot of reference photos. I think of older Delta kits using this at one point. Maybe it's not really that popular, but I thought it looked cool. The M-Lock before M-Lock was a thing. Then I just have a little Tech 15 on here.
Right, show people that real quick, stuff like that. And so Isaiah, did you get to use this? I know you're more of a saw guy, but
yeah.
Did you ever use
Oh yeah, no, I've definitely used this before. The saw, a lot of times what ends up happening for my team especially when we're in a game of like attack and defend, right? Where we have to defend our like patrol base or whatever. Usually the saw ends up getting passed around to a lot of guys because sometimes you're able to hold off like a good horde of people coming into your patrol or trying to get into your patrol base. So you can like mow them down for sure. It's like great, I only got like 1 or 2 guys. At that point, you know, someone else might be like, hey, I need more coverage over here. Pass the saw around, right? It literally becomes the gun. It's the village saw, right? Everyone's had a ride.
So how many people do you think join NATO at once? How many are on each side?
Oh God,
No
well,
more.
that number can like really change. Like sometimes it can be like, you know, maybe just 200, right? And then sometimes it can be like 500 on one team. It really depends on the event. I think this last one that I went to, it was like close. It was definitely over 500, like for sure. It was
On
a lot.
each side?
No, like in total. So it was like, was it close to 600? Yeah, it was like 300 something players.
So
per side.
you know, let's talk about your first one. That's not jump years.
Yeah. The first one, a lot of people dropped out, honestly. It's hard to keep track, but I think
It was cold, that's why, right?
oh yeah, it's freezing cold. It snowed like completely, like overnight, and then on the second day, we were literally like in a blizzard. This third day, it was like it wasn't even raining anymore. It was literally just pounding snow. I think if I had to give a number, probably close to like 400.
That's
Yeah.
still a lot.
Oh yeah, that's definitely still a lot for a Milsim event, but like, man, everyone
Millarp.
flies. Millarp.
I'm
Or
just
Millarp.
kidding, but
No,
we'll
you're
call it Milsim, whatever.
Mhm.
But how after the second fight, did you get into any other what other stuff that you encountered that you wanted to share with people? Did you patrol?
Oh yeah, no, we definitely went on patrols, like, and this is the only part of the Millarp that sometimes I don't always agree with. Like, if you know that you are patrolling in an area that's pretty close to where the enemy like patrol base is, or maybe even enemy HQ is, why not make an attempt to go ahead and attack it, right? Especially if you have a small enough element. A lot of times.
So what happened? Well, tell us about it.
We were told to go on a patrol and by our squad leads and with another squad too that we joined up with, and we had to make this pretty big march all around the entire perimeter of the AO essentially. Like, and it's like, okay, I get it, it's cool, you're gonna be going on marching. All right, fine, whatever. But I looked at the map because I had my own copy. We were really close to where we suspected the enemy HQ was. Right? There's like, why don't we just go and try to make an attack for it?
So is there rules of engagement or something?
So for that, they were just like, no, you know, we have our orders. We need to go and follow this. Like, I get it, right? There's a lot of admins that don't want to push too hard, right? Like, it makes sense. You want to keep the game going for as long as possible. They don't want the game to just suddenly end automatically, right? They have to keep the game going. You paid $150 for $220 for like 3 days worth of play. They don't want it to just end overnight. I understand that. But with that said, you know, we were really close to the freaking enemy patrol base. It's like, why don't we just, or HQ, why don't we just try to go and attack it? So something that Boaz came up with was that he decided to, I don't know if I'm saying this, but I don't mind saying it. It's not like anyone. Boaz decided to have gun issues with his classic army stoner. So he's like, yeah, I have issues. I need my techs to go ahead and try to fix it. So me and Taylor stayed behind to try to like help him fix the problem. And as soon as we were out of view, all right, let's just make a run for the HQ. Let's just make a run for HQ. And like I think we ended up meeting up another squad that was lost at the time. They didn't know where to go. So like we told them, hey, we're gonna go attack HQ. We're probably gonna die, but it's gonna cause up some commotion. You want to join with? They're like, fuck it, might as well. So they just joined up, and so I think we in total had like 5 or 6 dudes. We literally snuck up right behind because it's on a hill. So we had to crawl up a hill, and we see all these tents and all these Russian dudes. Some of them aren't even wearing clothes. Some of them are naked.
What?
I mean, like boxers, you know, like tighty whities and everything. One guy had a MAGA hat and just tighty whities, just going around with an RPK. That was a vibe. So we're like, you know what? Let's spread out. So we spread out as thin as we possibly could. Taylor behind a rock with his DMR. It was like 3 LMG users in total, and like 2 riflemen. And then I like 1, 2, 3. Threw smokes. And just unloaded completely into these tents, right? We got a few people for sure, and we definitely scared everyone, right? Like, everyone was like, what the fuck's going on? So they came around, and like, they just scrambled to grab their guns. Most of them weren't even in full kit. They just scrambled to try to engage us, and we tried peeling back as much as we could, but eventually they just caught us all. It was kind of funny because even like, Jet was on the, Jet Desert Fox, he was on the other team, Rust 4 team. He pulled up all of his cameras, and by the time he pulled up, he's like, wait, was this it? And we're like, yeah. It was like, was it just 5 guys? Like, yeah. It's like, man, it wasn't worth this. And he freaking all angrily takes off his like camera and headgear equipment. He's like, man, throwing a tantrum, being all upset because it wasn't a full thing. Because everyone said, dude, it was just 5 of you guys. We're like, yeah. I was like, oh, dude, we thought it was a whole platoon. We thought we were gonna get invaded right now. We're losing our minds.
You ruined a YouTuber's dream.
I ruined a YouTuber's dream. Sorry, Jed, if you're
Yeah.
watching this. I do apologize.
Man, you just messed up his content.
His content, yeah. He live
You were
streamed the
his
event,
content.
I think. I think he live streamed the event. I think he was live streaming from his tent.
But as you can see, this is what I heard back in the day. Like, it's funny. At that time, I don't believe Milsim has happened.
Okay.
But there's a saying: you paying $150, $200 to join this, to get yelled at, to get to feel terrible because a lot of airsofters are overweight. And they have to walk so far, and literally to feel like you're on the base. You pay $200 to join the basic, and get yelled at.
I can kind of see where that mentality comes from. Because, okay, like, to be
No,
fair,
no, it's not a bad thing.
No,
it's,
no,
it's
no.
literally sum it up because
Yeah.
your whoever sergeant or the squad leader is gonna yell at you. What the fuck? Where you want to have fun? You want to go attack the
Yeah.
enemy's position and all that kind of stuff. But
It worked to our advantage, actually. No one knows why the NATO was able to push, because they were stuck at a stalemate. So when we did that, that caused so much confusion that all the Russian forces pulled back, so we were able to gain more of a foothold. So I was like, hey man, it worked.
but you kind of disobeyed it. Imagine your squad leader is like, what the fuck?
Hey man, we died and we got a Congressional Medal of BB honor. All right, we were honored for our bravery and
No, but
sacrifice.
I'm just saying, in a way that's
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying is you made whatever that you think that you will have fun, and you guys did.
Yeah.
That was probably the most memorable.
I don't normally recommend doing that, by the way. Like, we were just doing it. It was our first time. We just decided to say, screw it. What could happen, right? And it worked out in our favor. No one got mad.
So after that, this is the second day.
Yeah, this is the second day. After that, like, in the middle of the night, Taylor actually had some, like, real-life emergency. His freaking insulin wasn't working anymore. That, and he was getting, like, severe, like, I mean, like, really bad, like, heartburn. Like, it almost looked like he was coughing up blood. I know it wasn't. It was just acid or, like, bile and everything. But he was actually, like, freaking dying. He could not, like, last any longer. So we had to, like, we're like, all right, we're done. And since he was our ride,
So that's it.
that was it. So the second night, that's when we, like, packed up our stuff and, like, I wanted to say the whole event, but I don't want to, wake up in the morning and to a corpse,
Nah, probably not gonna have that happen. So when you guys need to kid out and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
what do you recommend people?
Honestly, like, the biggest thing I'm going to, obviously, read the rules, right? Like, when it comes to these MIL-LARP events, right? Read the rules. It's going to explain exactly what you need to wear as far as patterns.
Let's say the
everything.
NATO side.
NATO side. If you're going to go NATO side, multicam, right? Buy the most basic multicam thing that you can that's comfortable for you. Again, you're not looking for, like, there are some guys that, yeah, they like to go all out, right? And they'll buy, like, Cry Cut, like, whatever, or not Cry Cut, but they'll actually buy, like, legit Cry G3, like, pants or combat pants and uniform sets. And you can do that. That's cool, right? Like, that's totally cool. It's a flex, right? You're flexing on me. But at the end of the day, you don't need that. You can wear, like, an affordable, like, combat set, like, top and bottoms, and you're fine. Hell, if you want to use hand-me-down, like, multicam BDUs or, like, just regular tops and bottoms, work uniforms, then you can do that too. As long as it's multicam, that's all that they require. So whatever's going to be comfortable for you, because again, there's a lot of players in Airsoft that are all different sorts of sizes, shapes, and everything. So if you're a heavier set dude and you don't really like the cry cut stuff and you want to go with something that's a little more flexible, or if you don't have that much money and you want to get something a little more affordable, then yeah, that's totally fine. As long as it follows the uniform pattern, that's all they care about, and whatever's going to work for you. Because you're going to be
But what other stuff you need to bring? Like,
either a plate carrier of some kind.
what kind of plate carrier do you recommend? The Condor Cyclone.
You can always, that's honestly, when it comes to, like, this is the thing, when it comes to tack gear, it really does come down to a matter of individual preference and what sort of pieces of equipment you're going to be carrying on your person, right?
Like for you.
For me, if I'm
show
running,
everybody
yeah,
about this.
if I'm running toy, replica, airsoft, not real, thank you. If I'm running this, right, I will usually run, like, just a very minimalist chest rig. Something that's pretty basic, maybe can hold some extra M4 magazines, but that's about it. I'm already carrying and having to ruck and run because I play aggressive. I'm having to run with this. Why am I going to intentionally make my load that much heavier, right?
Right.
Like, there's no point at that point, right? It's a lot easier, a lot more maneuverable too, because a lot of times I will jump in and out of a vehicle with this on me, so it's like, all right, now why am I going to make it bulkier and more uncomfortable for me, right? Same thing, you're going to be rucking with, like, a pack on your back for like, God knows, maybe 1 to 2 miles.
But
right?
do you carry a secondary?
Sometimes. Most of the
So-
time, I try to.
So with secondary meaning your pistols, right?
Yeah.
What do you carry?
Usually I'll carry Elite Force M9, or I'll usually swap it out for like my Frankenstein Glock, the one that you hate. I usually swap it out for that
Yeah,
one.
you have a few. You can show people like.
And then at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what sidearm you have. This is another thing too I wanted to go ahead and answer. A lot of people will ask, I'm doing Milsim events. What do I need a pistol? You don't actually need a sidearm, right? You don't actually need any sidearm. However,
all the events, I never brought sidearm.
yeah, like they don't care.
Cumbersome.
Yeah, and it makes it more of a logistical nightmare sometimes. It makes it harder to have to carry, okay, now I got to worry about pistol ammo, I got to divide ammo up that way, and then I have to worry about magazines. It just makes it easier if you just run a regular rifle and just stick with that, right? Just carry. That's why regular grunts, right, they won't have sidearms. They're just going to be given the full combat load. What is it, 320, 350 rounds on them? Something like that?
So,
another one too, by the way, if you guys don't know, we have a promo going on right now. I believe they mentioned it in the chat earlier, but you guys pick up any gas-powered airsoft pistol before the end of today, because this is the last day to take advantage of it. You'll be getting 5 chances of winning Thursday's shopping spree giveaway, and that's for $3,100. There you go. There you go. This
orange tip.
Yeah, it's toy replica, not real.
This is the Lancer Strike, right?
Yeah, Lance Tactical Strike 5.1, and it is going to have the RMR plate on here. So if you want to mount a micro red dot on there, we have those as well on our website as well. Place 2 separate orders, one for the gun and one for the optic. There's 2 chances right there, or rather, I should say, 6 chances of winning.
So this is where so your secondary, you probably don't. Let's say you're M9, but you don't recommend it. So you do bring a secondary AEG though, right?
I will bring a backup that I carry in my pack. Yeah, this is my 416 toy replica, not real
I
firearm.
mean, we can show it.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, there you go. This is usually because it's a small, freaking like little, CQB version of a 416. Like this is usually my backup.
Mm-hmm.
I will use this from time to time when I don't really want to carry that around, or if I have to go on patrol and like someone wants to stay behind full security and want the saw. I don't mind lending it to them.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just like kind of like my go-to pickup and go, and I have a few of those as well.
So you definitely have to have a primary, a backup,
Yes.
and maybe a secondary.
Yeah, I would say secondary is optional, but it is nice to have it.
So, in Milsim West, this is where I want to ask you this, and then maybe tomorrow we'll get into my experience.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you.
Yeah, some of the
So
other
in
ones.
Milsim West and all that kind of stuff, do they have like QRF? Do they have like some sort of special squad that have to do?
Usually, even though it's never really been like something that's ever really talked about too much in like the tax op itself, there usually is. And I'm pretty sure like most, because I know some of the guys in the, some of the cadre, some of the guys at like the white cells, right? The guys that are admins of the event, some of them actually do have participating roles in the game itself, right? A lot of times they are squad leaders. A lot of times they are platoon leaders, right? There are usually like some form of QRF that's like usually on standby, and you can usually hear them going on throughout the night. They'll usually have like one like squad, and then they'll pick a random squad like from just the random one. All right, you guys got night vision. All right, cool with us, right? And they'll go in and try to like go and clear houses or something that they suspect the enemy's in, and you can hear like some of the firefights going on at night.
So they're kind of like
The special forces, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a group out there. I'm pretty sure you must have heard of them. Freaking Task Force Mayhem.
No.
Task Force Mayhem was like they were like the cool guys for me, right? A lot of
Yeah.
guys grew up
Yeah.
with like Green Mountain Rangers. I know my whole thing was like Task Force Mayhem. I saw those dudes because they all show up in like early 2010 like Ranger kit.
Mm-hmm.
So they would go around and they were like the cool guys, right? Even though they were rocking sometimes like OCP or like or no UCP. UCP? UCP's ACU, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Correct if it's wrong. But yeah, they would walk around in like ACU and like Ranger Green. I was like, oh, normally that camouflage is like pretty gross, but like with that kit, it looks so cool. So we would see them clearing out buildings. Like they look legit. Like they have like legit night vision on. They don't rent them. They own those. That's their like personal set. They're freaking cool. A lot of those guys are actually former Rangers too. So I would look at them and how they play, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. They're so operator. I would love watching them.
Can regular people sign up for that? Like, let's say you.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, it's like any other airsoft team, right? Even in like same thing with like CQB teams. There is like a tryout period, right, where you can ask them like, hey, can I try out your team? Can I go with you?
Oh no! I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's for the event, Milsim West.
Oh yeah, you could sometimes be sent out, be like, hey, this team that we sent on patrol got schwacked. They're
No, I'm
held down.
saying
Can
is,
you be the quick
sign
react
up to be those kind of?
Oh,
or
like
they
the-
don't do stuff like that.
You can, like, if you wanted to, again, like, remember what I was saying about the camouflages? So if you wanted to go as a very specific unit, right? Like say you want to, I don't know, German Bundeswehr, which that's oddly a thing, very popular amongst Muslims. There's a lot of guys that actually have German kids, or Australian SAS, right? That's a
The
big,
Australian SAS. Let's talk about
You remember Jacob, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, he was
okay.
part of that.
So, if you wanted to be Australian SAS, do you have different objectives?
Sometimes, yeah, like you are given different objectives. Because that's why it's always important if you want to do that to email like Josh Warren or email any one of the advisors or like organizers within Milsim West, like, hey, we want to run Australian SAS. Is this allowed? Because sometimes they might not want to have that specific faction
Right.
there, right? It really depends on what it is. But sometimes he will give you, all right, here's a very specific, objective for you that might be different from everyone else.
So let's say if you wanted to be, I'm loosely talking.
Yeah,
about
yeah, of
this.
course. This is all loose.
This is loosely. Let's say you want to be like SEAL stuff like that, or one of the SOCOM people. Let's just say that.
Sure.
Team. And on that particular event or team, then do you think? Let's say you, Boaz, Taylor, we're even throwing in Cisco or Victor. You say that.
Sure.
Okay. You guys wanted to be like SEAL Team 6. Everyone has to be like, either MSR or MK16 like that.
Yeah.
Right? They just say that. And
Yeah,
we'll
sure.
pick it out. Do they take that into consideration or not really?
It's more based off of, it's kind of a combination of two things. It's the kit that you have. So if you're saying that we're fully kitted out, like we have legit kit, right? Well, and as close as it can get to the real thing. If you have like legit kit or legit looking stuff, and you're
Close
also
to it,
close to it,
obviously.
and you're actually good and you're known within the community, yes. Like there's a lot of times when we've been given as a team, like my team TFA that Boaz and Taylor and I are part of, because we've been doing it for so long, and because a lot of the cadre, they know us personally, we've had good experiences with them all the time, and they know that we actually do pretty well as a team. We actually get like objectives. We usually do really good job in like attack and defend objective game modes. We usually are pretty fast and we'll communicate as a team. We're one of the few guys that pulls legit good security because we're organized. They usually will give us like, all right, you want to work as a PMC this civilian or this insurgency event? Yeah, we'll have you play a direct role in the story. And we're like, oh, cool. So we end up working within the inner workings of like the Milsim West event. Obviously, we're not admins. We don't have like more authority over anyone else. But it's cool that you actually get to participate in the larger story that's happening. Because again, LARPing, no LARP, right? There's a lot of LARPing elements to it. But the reason why like Task Force Mayhem is so known is because one, their leader, legit 75th Ranger, retired and everything, and he's been doing airsoft for ever since he got out. He knows all the organizers, and him and his team, he handpicks you too. So if you're good, he wants you to go with him. Like there's a reason why they are the QRF. They're the special forces of that unit. But yeah, no, like you can go, but they're not gonna like solely look at your kit to answer your question. They're only gonna look at the kit and how well do they know you. Like if you're gonna actually be a good participating member of the event, or you're just gonna suck.
If you're gonna fit the story.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you suck, like you say, you can't shoot for shit. But see, that's another thing. Airsoft and real guns are different.
Oh yeah, no, there is a big difference. If you're good in like airsoft wise, they mean. So like you could be like good on the range, right? Because a lot of those guys really are shooting. But they're when they say like good performance or like you play really well, they're looking at specifically how you play on the field with airsoft.
How you LARP or how you play?
How you play. So it's a combination of both. It's how good are you at LARPing and how good are you at actually playing. So if you're good at both, then congratulations, you're like one of the cool guys at MSW.
So yeah, I hope you guys are listening to this, and we pretty much cover, Isaiah's first experience, his firefights, first one, 2018 games and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of you guys always want to be like, spec op, you want to be SOCOM, CEO and all that kind of stuff. It's possible.
It is possible. It's not impossible to be able to do that and to be able to have that power fantasy. Because again, it's LARPing, right? At the end of the day, you can, if you have a squad of 9 or more, right, and you want to go with your best friends and you want to go as SEAL team, whatever, right? Obviously, you can't say you're SEAL team, whatever. Don't do that. That's I consider that so invalid. But blind to blur. But if you want to go as like Delta guys, right? If you want to go as freaking like Ranger kit, right? If you want to go as SEALs.
But that doesn't necessarily mean you cannot be SC Village's Navy SEAL.
Oh my God.
No, we're not. I'm here to encourage people to dress up.
Yeah,
I think
that's part of the fun.
Yeah, that's part of the fun. But in the bigger games, you kind of have to. How should we put it? Try it out, I guess.
Yeah.
Try it out to be, and you have to. Let's say Milsim West, you have to let Josh Warren know that. Hey, our team have this capability too. Can we do it? Can we try it? If they say no, they probably going to give you a reason. All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But being a NATO is fun too, right?
Oh, absolutely. No matter what side you join up, whether it's Rust 4, NATO, or if you want to go as a civilian during like an insurgency event, which is that third party, that wild card, yeah, it's always a blast, always fun. I highly recommend it for pretty much anyone. And like, you don't, and there's this whole misconception, right, that you need all this like Gucci'd out gear, you need like the absolute best of the best. Like, no, you don't need any of that. Like, most of the kit that I've used over the past couple of years, like, and the guns too, I got them from here or secondhand, but like I got them here. Like the parts that I use for all this, I bought like all the parts.
Well,
here.
you're not saying like we sell shit.
No, absolutely not.
You're trying to say is you thought everybody's gonna be like, oh, it has to be a legit kid.
Like you
whatnot.
have to have a Tokumarui MWS or Tokumarui NGRS. You can do it if you want to, and that's cool.
We sell that too.
We sell those too,
and
right?
we actually have the unicorn, the bolt for the NWS and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we have a lot of the upgrade
But you know
components.
what? If you're gonna use that at the game you just described right now, your BB is probably gonna go 50 feet.
Jeez. No, but like yeah, like you can get everything that you need for a Milsim West event, like for the most part, right? Obviously, we don't sell food and water, so you know, good luck with that.
So yeah, the pinnacle is Milsim West at the moment, right?
Yeah, that is what I would consider the golden standard. There are Milsim events in Europe. I don't remember what it's called. Taylor and I looked at it where it's like
There's a large event for like 1,000, 2,000.
Yes,
people at,
yes. It's Germany,
forgot.
right?
Yeah, it's in the forest or something like that.
Yeah, it's huge, massive. I want to go to one of those.
Yeah,
People
but
die.
I think that is more. I'm not sure because Jackie from Classic Army was killed.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like a bigger firefight too.
Oh, okay.
But it's fun.
I
Like,
just saw the
everybody
fact
go
that
there.
they had like
They do have
amphibious vehicles
APCs and all that kind
yeah.
of stuff. Yeah, retired ones and whatnot. They busting people around, whatnot. See, that's the fun part. But yeah, like, you know, Isaiah, it's good to share this story.
No, of course. I always love doing this
So
stuff. I always love
hopefully,
going on.
you know, the next one I'll share my like the Operation Iron Angel, and there's one. It happened at the. You know March Air Force Base?
Yes.
Right across the freeway, there used to be something just like the Georgia Air Force Base.
Okay. Yeah.
Like those abandoned
like apartments and like
apartments
housing
and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We actually played a game there.
Ooh.
So it was organized by the Roughnecks and all that kind of stuff. There was a team called the Roughnecks.
I remember.
on the
I
other
remember
side.
them actually.
Yeah, so I play Operation Iron Angel 1 with Scott Helveston and his squad, a whole bunch of other guys.
Yeah.
Operation Iron Angel 2, then that event, then Lion Cross 1, 2, and 10. So after that, it's whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
You wouldn't want to do one now?
I just did the Big Wars.
No. I thought you said there
if I
was.
do one, I'm not sure if, you know, LARPing, I'm not sure if it's for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just like to more pick up and go play.
It's not really a pick up and go too. It's more like, you know, I'm much older now.
Oh,
I kind
okay.
of don't want to pay $150 and get yelled at. It feels like shit. You can do that at the golf courses already.
Oh. I
But-
forget that you like golf.
But anyways, you know, we appreciate you sharing the story.
No, of course,
again.
anytime.
Tell us everybody the promos right now, and
So-
we're gonna end it like that. Show them the MK2
So,
again too.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know, we have this bad boy, the Mayo Gang MGC4
They're gonna get
Mark
shipped
II.
out very soon.
Very
soon. This parts that we're waiting on
I'll show you right there.
is coming in. Like
It's coming in
should be
filled,
this
yeah.
week.
Yeah.
This
is
week or so.
This week or so, it's going to be coming in and start shipping out. This thing, it's still available for pre-order, so if you want to be part of that and own a piece of Airsoft GI history, which this thing is dope, by the way. This thing has a dope internal 603 or Type 4 inner barrel, rotary cell hop chamber, quick change spring system, pre-installed Nebula MOSFET. This thing gets out and touch people. This thing reaches far. Right? We have this guy again. Any order that you
Airsoft gun.
Airsoft gun, toy, replica, not real, thank you. Any order that is $20 or more automatically gets you entered into the shopping spree giveaway, of course. That is going to be for $3,100 that is on the line right now. However, you pick up any, and I mean literally any, gas-powered airsoft pistol, right, like one of these guys, you can get 5 chances of winning the shopping spree giveaway, but that deal ends tonight, so make sure you place your orders now for that and take advantage.
So if you buy an MK2, you can actually join the NATO.
There you go. Yeah, this would be considered a NATO gun. You could totally do this. And no one
NATO
will get away.
airsoft gun.
NATO airsoft gun. But we also have, just so you guys know as well, some shocker deals going on right now, meaning that these guns are super discounted.
This
You can pick
airsoft guns.
Yeah, airsoft toy replica, not real. Thank you. You can pick up a new Zion Arms R15 SBR in this beautiful bronze color. This guy is on a shocker deal right now. Insane, because this guy normally retails for $315. So pick it up, but again, that shocker deal is ending in like what, 8 hours?
Yeah.
It's a little over 8 hours that it's going to be ending. So take advantage now while you can.
All right, Isaiah, you have fun talking about your experience?
Oh, absolutely. I always love hanging out with the chat. I love live streaming.
So, to end the stream, can you tell people why you like Milsim West events?
I like Milsim West events because they add two things that I really love. I love Airsoft and I love LARPing. I love role-playing action games. I love that whole sort of immersive experience. That's what I go for whenever I play video games too. I love role-playing whenever I play video games, even if it's something like, fucking super casual like COD, right? So if that even remotely sounds like something you would be into, or you just want to experience something really, really cool and different, I would highly recommend that you check out whatever Milsim organizers that might be in your area that are local to you, or if you want to make the drive out, absolutely. I love
Lion Claws is in bad
Lion
too.
Claws, yeah. If you want to start out like Lion Claws, hell, I would even say BB Wars to an extent, right? Like, if you want to do something, because again, you are LARPing as Imperials and Rebels, right? Very Star Wars-esque. Check out these bigger Airsoft events. It's worth it, and they build really, really good memories that you're never gonna forget these events ever.
People's always talking about, nowadays you basically want experience. People wanting to spend money on experiencing stuff, whatnot.
Okay.
I think for Airsoft wise, this is a good experience that you can attempt to go and join those bigger events and whatnot. But just make sure you buy the parts from Airsoft GI.
Buy all the parts, buy all the tactical gear, everything, all your Airsoft needs from Airsoft GI. We got you covered, and we got the best prices around. Just saying. All right, guys. I think we're gonna go end it right here.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries, guys. You guys have a good one. Now let's see if I can figure out how to turn this off. There we go.